This is the 22nd season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live. We're going to talk about bass fishing. We have some different lighting in the studio today. You have a mysterious you have a mysterious glow because we're there. You go, just a little bit there. Like, have you ever done one of those photo shoots where they're like hat higher, like that, and then you're like, oh, I look like a dork now, and then they're like, oh, but we can't see your eyes, and I'm like, yeah, but I look like a dork. That's kind of what we're working with. It is what it is.
Sorry, you guys don't get to see my beautiful
Scott Palmer from the Bass Tank. You know him, you love him. Big supporter of BTL. Been around for a long time, and it's kind of this time of the year where we kind of get you in studio, talk about a lot of new things. I've also just discovered thumbnails, so I'm having fun doing the thumbnail thing with BTL. But I want to kind of talk about how this show came about. So you own, run, work at the Bass Tank, which does all electronics, all brands, everything nationwide. I mean, you got Hamner right there.
Oh yeah,
hell of a team.
Yeah.
And I was chatting because it was time for our biannual electronics checkup, right? So the cat that I've got is a year and a half old now. I'm getting the new one in March, April, something like that. But the season starts in a month. I like to just get on the water, check with you, say, what do you think? What is that? And then you give me the freaking go ahead, basically like a doctor's visit for the boat. Something you would recommend that a lot of anglers do on a regular basis.
Correct. And, I've got to dematize it, I guess, if you will. You make sure that you haven't touched, because you never let me explain so you know how to set it or the reason why I tell you to set it. You just want me to put it, say, you always tell me, Scott, what button do I push?
Yeah.
And then inevitably you're going to push the buttons and you're going to get a little bit out of sorts, but you don't give yourself enough credit. You've actually been able to retain a lot. I'm getting proud of you.
What did I do at Leech when I called you absolutely panicked this past year? That was just a total, that was me. I literally said you should just cut me right now when we figured out what it was. And I was serious at the time. So it was practice at Leech. I was fishing boulders exclusively with a 3/4 ounce jig and a big minnow. I knew I was going to catch him. I knew it was a guaranteed check. I had it dialed in. I dropped my stuff in the water one day and it's just like chaos and it doesn't look right. We went.
I think your transducer was oriented incorrectly for maybe traveling. I think you had adjusted it. So it fit under your cover better is what it was. Because everything we just gotten off the water, before you left, we had done our pre-checkup then. And I was like, what in the world? This thing was perfect. And then I remember we were FaceTiming you out there and I just happened to see in the background, I said, Matt, check your transducer. And you got there like, I'm an idiot. Okay. Yeah.
I clicked it one click and it worked. But before that, we had ordered a new transducer because you thought it went out. We had switched black boxes because I have 2 black boxes with me. We had changed transducer cables because to the backup transducer cable that I had, we had taken the auto stabilization. Like it was like a 2-hour process. You were on the phone with me and all that. And literally all I had to do was like rotate it one click and it went from down to forward. I was such
and so this I'll use this as a prime example because you're not alone. I get a lot of my customers that call for that type of support. And I'm not trying to talk down to people, but it is usually the simplest things. And that's why a lot of times I ask for those things like, hey, is the transducer oriented correctly? And this is what happened. I made an assumption that you had it correctly because you hadn't touched it since I should have done that first because whenever you actually FaceTimed me and I saw in the background, like I felt stupid because I was like, I should have
been an easy troubleshoot.
I should have
taken 20 seconds.
Yeah. And so that's why, if you guys call in, you're one of my customers and I ask you these seeming simple questions, Matt, it's Matt's fault. Let's blame Matt,
That was totally my fault though. But so anyway, I was talking with you a couple weeks ago. And I was picking your brain about some new stuff that was coming out. There's some new stuff from Lowrance that I'd like to pick your brain about. There's already some questions on here. about it, but you mentioned that you were playing with something that had been out for a while,
Yep.
but that a lot of guys weren't talking about, and the ones that were utilizing it didn't really have an incentive to talk about it. So then
Yeah.
I mentioned it to one of my other buddies, and he's like, oh, I was in the boat with X Elite Series Pro, and he keeps it under his console because he doesn't want people to see it. It's not like a thing. And there's like a group of these guys that are using it, but it's been out. So
Yeah.
it's really wasn't a clickbaity title. And I don't know anything about this. I literally know the name of it, but
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. So you
Yeah.
went into engineer Scott mode trying to explain it to me. And I said, no. I said, what are you doing on Wednesday?
Yeah.
I said, get up early, make
Yep.
the drive from Sapulpa.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
let's do it in studio. So that's what's sitting in front of you. So I think instead of, teasing it, I think we dive right into that
Yeah.
for the first segment. Then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and we will talk about getting your electronics, the current electronics that you have, what you might need new things just dialed in for the 2026 season. So you feel like whatever level of electronics you want, whether it's 2D, a flasher,
Yep.
a paper graph,
Yep.
6 transducers, active target 360 Humminbird live scope 62 LVS BTS 19 and whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's working properly. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
All
Sounds
right,
good.
what is this in front? So the problem is if I put the ring light on, it shows the ring light there, and
Yeah.
then that just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So we've got good audio here. Just don't touch that cord right there, or else our
All right,
video
I'll
will go away.
Try not to touch that cord. So this guy right here is from PowerPole. This is the PowerPole Vision. And can you see it okay there?
Yeah. So it's a 10-inch screen or 11.
So this is actually a 12-inch
A
screen.
12-inch screen that
Yep.
looks just like a Garmin, a Lowrance, a Humminbird screen.
And I'll pick this up and
Yep,
see
you can.
it's
That
actually got a
shows it
gimbal
perfect.
for it, just like you would any other graph. Now I've got it splayed out here, so it'll set up on the table well there. But it mounts just. It would take place of one of your other 12-inch units. Like if you had, let's say you ran dual 12s at the console, you would put this guy in its place basically. And what I really like about this is, a lot of guys say, hey, I want to, hey, I'm going to run a Humminbird for my mapping. I want Lake Master, or I want a Lowrance, or I want a Garmin, dedicated mapping unit. This guy right here actually will allow you to run apps. And you say, okay, what do you mean by apps? Why does that matter? Because all of the manufacturers, every one of them have their maps available on their apps. That's where
Just
we
make sure you're closer to the mic.
Sorry, I thought I was close enough.
I know
All right.
you are. You have to really
Let me make love to this thing.
tickle.
Yeah.
Tickle.
It'll tickle my beard. So what you can do, this is basically a hardened tablet. We'll call it a marine rated tablet.
Okay.
And you say, well, why wouldn't I just use my iPad? I'll tell you why. Because your iPad through the course of the day is going to overheat. The screen is not rated for outdoors, so the sun is going to wash it out. Yeah, you can kind of see it, but think about
So
it.
that's just your
right.
standard iPad
Yeah.
tablet, right? An inch tablet.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's what it is. And sure, guys did that for a little bit, but that was before this. This is waterproof. It's, I believe, IPX67 rated, just like your other graphs are. But this screen is visible in sunlight. And what's really cool is it's Android based, so it's an Android tablet. So you sign in with a Google, go have access to the Google Play Store. What I like about it is you can put your Google Earth on it,
Okay.
and then I can see my historical data. So I can literally run side by side. This is mine. This is going on my boat. So
you haven't had one on before, like you
No,
saw this and put it on.
yeah. So I knew this was coming. I've been wanting to do it, and I knew when I got my new boat this year that this was going on. And so my boat is currently being rigged by the guys at the shop. And so I stole it. I said, hey guys, I'm taking this, and so I can bring it here for you.
Okay.
And
We
so
have a Pro Guide battery over
Yeah,
here,
Pro Guide.
lithium that's actually you can't see. You don't even have to put,
don't,
but it's a Pro Guide battery that it's hooked to a lithium that he brought in. So we're actually going to like power this up. So the way I understand it, you can run basically any app that you want on your phone. So we're talking Active Captain.
Active Captain.
We're talking Navionics. CMAP.
Yep. One Boat Network.
One Boat Network.
Yep.
We're talking
Pandora, by the way, Pandora. I mean, seriously, like literally any app that is available in the Google Play Store.
So before when we saw guys that were watching college football on the water, they were watching it through that.
Yes.
But then you can also run your Lake Master.
Yep.
You can run all of it and Google Earth on it.
Yep.
So instead of having
Yep.
a Humminbird, a Lowrance, a Garmin, all the different chips, all the different screens,
Yep.
you can run all of that
Yep.
through that one 12-inch screen.
So it is, because it's Android based, it's limited to two apps at one time. You can split screen it.
Okay.
So I can have Google Earth next to Active Captain or Lake Master next to, Navionics. I can only have two at a time. Now, multiple can be open. You can switch through them, but I can only put two side by side. But it's still really, really cool because there's times I want to know what the C-Maps looks like compared to the Garmin, or the Lake Master looks, next to C-Maps, because, you've been all over the country and everyone always says, hey, who's the best mapping software? And it's always based on where you're at in the country, because they've all got a lot of really cool
you
features.
go to Kentucky Lake and they're like, this is what you need on here. And then you go to Grand and they're like, oh, that's trash.
Yeah,
This is what you
exactly. And so this gives you that advantage without having to burn a unit that's a dedicated mapping to one manufacturer. Now, not to pull the rug back on the Elite Series guys, and I'm not going to name any names, but usually, we know it's not, no serious, these guys are sponsored, right?
Yep.
Well, if they're running Lowrance is not going to be real happy if this is replacing one of their units.
Yeah.
And so that's
and it does
why
count for inches. I
and it
checked
does-
with
and it
Bass. It's
absolutely-
considered. It's not
it's-
like a iPad tablet. Like this counts towards your 53 inches of graph.
this
that you're allowed
absolutely
to have
counts
on
towards
your
the
boat.
inches, because this is basically an MFD. It's got a NEMA port on the back. It's not functional right now, but guess what? That's going to be some future functionality, I suspect. So it does have this camera.
Yeah, I
up here.
saw that on top. What is that?
It's a camera.
It allows you
take
to
pictures
record and take pictures and
Yes,
all that.
sir.
I do want to say before we get into this, I have
Uh-huh.
no affiliation with PowerPole. I've never had an affiliation
Yep.
with PowerPole. The only thing I get is when I get the Bass Cat, it comes with PowerPoles. Couldn't even name anyone at PowerPole. Zero sponsorship. Sponsored by the Bass Tank that sells everything. So this is not a straight push on this. And I also think some of the guys were saying there's some of the MBT stuff that has some of the same capabilities now too. Or
So the NBT has they call it the HQ box.
Okay.
And it tries to do very much the same thing, where you can run different cards in it, and it's pretty fantastic. I have nothing against that whatsoever. The issue with that is you still have to have a Garmin. You still have to have a unit tied to that. Now it's not going to, because it's a black box, it's not going to apply towards screens.
Okay.
So that is still an option for sure. I lean this way. I have nothing against MBT. I think that's a great option. I like this one just because of some of the other features, the other capabilities of it. Now, as you guys can imagine, if I'm on the water, I'm also working a lot. Now I can get my email here. Not that I really want to be that much more attached, but because
I'm liking it less now.
I would like to. Yeah, I'd like to get less.
I'm liking it much less.
Yeah.
now.
But because this is a functioning tablet, I can use it as my computer. Hey, any of you guys have kids? Download the Bluey. Is that a thing?
Wait, you can FaceTime on this.
You can FaceTime on this. Yeah, you can make calls on this.
It has audio and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so like if you want to hang out with your kids or wife while you're on the water or anything you want to do, can you live stream from it?
Yeah, you could absolutely live stream it from it. Yeah, Matt, we're just scratching the surface on it. I believe technically this has been out for a little over a year now, approaching 2.
Why haven't we not heard about it?
Because
At least I haven't.
it's like any new product when it's being developed. They do kind of a soft release and they get a few little bugs out. Like any manufacturer, you're going to get the bugs out. They started making a pretty hard push at the Classic last year in Fort Worth, and it surprised me that it didn't take off more. It really surprised me. And so I think they've made a concerted effort with PowerPole. Sitting in on some of the dealers meetings, they start talking about this. I see a lot of. I think we're going to sell quite a few of these, quite frankly.
Yes.
Just because of what it is. Every time I talk to someone on the phone, and I listen. I'm listening to what they're saying, and then they're like, "Well, I'm going to run something for mapping." That's my cue to say, "Hey, instead of tying yourself to one manufacturer, what about this?" And they say, "I've never heard of that." And that was one reason when you said, "Hey, bring it on here." I'm like, "Yeah, let's kind of get this out here, get people talking about it." It may not be for everybody, but I think it's pretty cool.
Okay, so before we get going, I have questions. There's a bunch of people that have questions on it as far as when you powered this up, one of the reasons we're 2 minutes late was you had to connect it to my Wi-Fi in the studio here. So obviously still, on the water, not everybody is going to have Wi-Fi. Does it work if there's no Wi-Fi available?
So it's got they partnered with Pure Talk, so it can have a cellular plan behind it.
So you'd pay an additional,
you'd pay additional
or hotspot on your phone,
hotspot on your
or
phone.
a card on your phone, or if you're in somewhere that has cell service, or if you have the Starlink on your boat.
Exactly. And that's why you're going to see Starlink some sort of portable Wi-Fi become more and more popular.
Mhm.
I've got more and more guys that don't tournament fish, but they want to just have connectivity when they're out on the water.
Yeah.
And this kind of is that whole thing. I know everyone's like, hey, this is too much for fishing. Technology's not stopping, guys. Let's just acknowledge it. Technology's not stopping. In the later segment, we can talk about what this year is going to look like. I think you kind of alluded to it. I think it's going to be a big product year. In the next 2 years, I think we're going to see another evolution. And but anyway, we'll save that little teaser.
All right, let's. We didn't practice this. We didn't try this. Nope. If you're going to talk, you're going to have to go back and talk in the mic or move that mic there. But let's fire this puppy up and see what it looks like.
I'm gonna turn this over here so I can.
You can still see it.
So I can see it here.
Yeah.
So it was. I did have it in sleep mode. Here, I'm turning around this real quick because I'm gonna get notifications. Just make sure I don't, and want to.
So
it is
locked. Mount. It has everything.
Yep.
Just like
you can see, it's got the mount, everything else. So this is the.
Oh yeah, that shows up really good.
Show up?
Yeah, that shows up perfect.
Okay, so let me slide up here. If I bang.
Yep.
Banging it.
And I'll kind of talk it through. There you go.
Okay.
We're putting those road mics to work.
Putting them to work here. So
sorry, I know this is not ideal. Well, actually, it is ideal. It looks fantastic. Oh, that's really bright.
Yeah.
We'll see if it captures it.
Is that showing up? Is that showing up there?
It is, but if there's anything on that screen,
there's nothing on it right now. This would be just like if I open up Google Earth. Like this is Google Earth. I'm opening up.
No, I can't see that. Can you lower the brightness on the screen?
Give me 1 second. I will.
I mean, you're Scott Palmer from the Bass Tank. That should be a pretty easy task for you to do.
Well, the problem is that's a white screen.
Yeah.
And so it's going to.
Is this on your website already?
It is. It is on the website. This is available in a 7 and 9 inch version, or 7 and 12 inch version. Excuse me.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna pull it up while
I'm doing this.
People are asking all sorts of questions about it. It would be under Power Pole. It would be under Power Pole, right?
It would. And yes, it would. I'm going to lower that all the way down. That's as low as I can take it. What's
it called again?
The Vision. Just type in Power Pole Vision.
Yeah.
Can you see the screen? Is that better?
Yeah, I can see the back top of it. Just work through to where you get to some other stuff.
Yeah, let me actually get some data here, and then it will be a little bit better.
I'm going to share the screen right here.
Because right now,
Power Pole Vision, there it is on.
Okay, so then let's do that, and then let's do this right here.
Bass Tank.
So all the time I had last night was to install Active Captain and the Google Earth, and so.
Okay.
But I wanted to do a side by side.
See that? There it is. So Power Pole Vision, the 12-inch, it's $3,000.
Yep.
For the 7-inch, it's $2,000. So very comparable with other screens of that size on the market, and that comes with the camera and all that stuff.
That's correct. That's correct. So all right, now let's do this.
And you can even do financing. I also purchased some Sakamata shads the other day that I found that I won't tell anyone where I found them, and they also offered financing for Sakamata shads, which I almost took based on how many I bought. Did you see him out there in the kitchen when you walked in?
I saw some things. I'm in
an underground Sakamata shad network where there's about 8 of us that have like a blood oath. And when they come in, it's like you get yours and then you let this guy know.
That's exactly right.
All right.
Sorry, I fat fingered. I decided to kick ourselves off the internet because I was fat fingering everything. My fault. I'm reconnecting.
Do you need the password again?
It should automatically connect now.
I feel like I can get my Wi-Fi password out over here. That's not. I almost ordered.
We have too many things connected to your internet. That's the issue.
Oh,
we overran it.
Oh, I have. I got these from Frank last Thursday.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't realize I was screen sharing. And literally during the show, I went in and ordered them because, limited run, they're only 600 of each. And Frank's like, Matt, you're typing in personal information on the screen. So he stopped before I got to any number.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of, because this is a tablet, you can actually lock it. And so I am kind of hiding some data right here.
Okay.
I promise I'll turn this around in just a second here, kids. Because this is
This is designed as an infotainment center.
Right. That's what they call it.
Control hub, real-time navigational, HD satellite, onboard entertainment streaming, cellular network connectivity, glare-free HD, water-resistant, hands-free, flexible mounting options. And like I said, comparable. 7 inches the exact same, be just $1,000 less. So you're paying $200 an inch.
Yes.
Seems to be the going rate.
You kicked me off your Wi-Fi.
Do I need to disconnect one of my things?
Yeah, probably not a bad idea.
Like my phone? Would that help?
There we go.
Okay.
Something, whatever it was, just dropped off. Basically, we had filled up your access point.
Oh.
That's impressive. That's
It's
impressive.
never a good thing when your
That's
access
never-
point is filled.
I'm thoroughly impressed with that. That's something.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Listen, I understand at $3,000. We're not saying that this is a necessity end all be all for everybody.
No.
The title of this wasn't "You Need This on Your Boat." This is some cool new tech that is going to kind of has been redefining a little bit of what's going on, and this show just kind of shows that. We're not spending the whole show on it. We're not trying to sell it to you. I mean, Scott's trying to sell it to you because he owns the bass tank, and he would like you to buy it if it makes sense to you. But there's a group of anglers that this 100% makes sense for, whether you're a businessman, whether you're a family guy, whether you're a tournament guy, or whether you're a content creator.
Well, and you know, one thing about it is I've had enough interest of it that I kind of realized that people didn't even know about it. You know, when I start talking about it, so it's like, okay, we it's time for us to really do something to talk about this. And so,
all right, perfect.
So that
looks good.
Yeah. So this is Google Earth right here.
Wow.
So I can see this in real time. Now I'm going to get away from the mic and I'll come back.
So it is literally like you would pull up Google Earth Pro on your, for the iTunes listeners, on your PC or your tiny iPhone or something like that.
So what I just did is just like you would in Google Earth. I just opened up and I said historical imagery. Mm-hmm. So I can go look back in time and pull up satellite photos from different points in history.
Okay.
So like take Sam Rayburn for right now is 9 foot low.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that are revealed.
I was just there.
Huh?
I was just there. Exactly. Everywhere where I've cashed checks before, I was like, oh, that's cool.
I see why.
That's where he was. That's where it was.
And so, by the way, the bandwidth on, because we're trying to live stream, that's absolutely killing our
that's fine. We had the Google Earth show pulled up there.
But so it's loading. It's a little bit slowed simply because when I'm running this on my hotspot on my phone, dude, it is lickety split. Like I can navigate with this. You know, it's updating fast enough. Right now, we're consuming a lot of data. Just so everyone know, don't get freaked out here because we have a blank sheet here. Let me do this. Let me jump back to my Active Captain,
which is the Garmin app.
Which is the Garmin
app that I have on my phone that I'm using to record for CTL and all the screenshot stuff. Which, by the way, if you have a Garmin, if you have a Garmin and you don't have the Active Captain downloaded, with what unit is it that you can connect to your phone where you can just screen record?
So used to was any GPS map family unit. Now it's the Ultra 2s or higher. So any Ultra 2s, EchoMap Ultra 2s, you can record it.
It's wild. It's free. Like there's a ton of people that aren't doing it. Like when I was at Rayburn pre-practicing, I came across a school of about 150 and I was like, oh, I need to record this. So I pulled it up, hit the record button, and I'll show it to you afterwards. It's pretty gnarly. I call like 70 out of it. I sat there and just beat their brakes off of them.
So can you can you see that really well? So this is the Active Captain app.
Okay.
And you know, this is actually tied to my Active Captain because it says my unit, so I signed into it.
Yeah.
So
I don't run the Garmin mapping. I use Lowrance mapping, but with this I can run the Garmin mapping.
You could do both, exactly. Okay. And I just didn't have time to download my other apps last night at 9:00 trying to prep for this. So sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
But you see right here, and I'll just kind of show you a quick feature, not to get too deep into it, but So because these are with iPhone or Android, certain gestures do certain things. This brings up all the apps that are currently open as I'm kind of scrolling across here. And what I can do, if I touch this up here, it's going to give me an option to split screen, see if I don't screw this up. So what do I want to split screen that with? Okay, I touched something.
Well, that's the Google Earth
Yeah,
imagery that hadn't pulled up. If you can just go back to the old one.
This is really awkward doing it this way. I apologize.
I told you we were doing this for the first run. That's how we do things at BTL. There you go.
So see if I can do this again without touching it, looking upside down. So we'll go here. Stop it. Even I upside down. All right, let me take this back to regular.
There it is.
So we're going to start seeing some historical imagery here. So I can go back to. You see how this is changing. You see, you can use this little as a point of reference at different times when this was. Whatever. I think everyone's familiar with Google Earth, so I probably don't want to get too deep into that. But it is really cool that you can see this side by side. Again, if I can stop getting this from being upside down here. So I'm going to split screen this. So I touch this up here. It gives me the option to split screen this.
Okay. So like I can put the deep dive app on there as well if it's an app?
Yes. Stop touching stuff, Scott. There we go.
Okay. There's a split screen. Yeah, you can see it on the side there. Anyway, that's how it works.
Yeah. So that is the.
And then you can mount this on the front deck. Most of the guys that I know have it mounted separately, so it is removable from the boat. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, and that is a that's probably guys that
have a Garmin deal or mainly a Lowrance.
Yeah, they're trying not to violate maybe their
Lowrance
contract.
isn't a big fan of other brands on the boat.
And neither is Garmin.
Guys.
I'll tell you right now.
Really?
Yeah, Garmin. I know. I know each contract is different. I don't want to assume people's contracts, but I can tell you that I know Garmin is pretty much. If you want to be a Garmin sponsor, you're going to run all Garmin if we offer it. And I'm pretty sure Lowrance is the same way. And and that's the way of it of a sponsored angler. That's just the life that they live. But then you've got some guys that maybe aren't sponsored by manufacturers, and they have a little more freedom, to do what they want.
Yes, it does count against their inches on the screen. And I also want to say, you are actually in the process of editing a video where this is hooked up to the computer, where you can go through all of the features on that'll be out on the Bass Tank YouTube channel and on the Bass Tank socials in the next couple
guys,
weeks.
This is an introduction. I'm going to go much more in depth on this. Follow us, because that's one reason why I wanted to run it as well. I get enough questions about it. I've had enough interest in it. It may not be for everybody. That's it. But this is an option, and we will, like we do everything, we will.
I'm interested in the camera. If anyone's been using that over the last year,
I don't know. It's
and if that's quality enough, or if that's more just kind of like, hey, we'll throw the camera on there. Do some research on that. I'd be interested, because as more and more as we're into the live stuff.
I don't know.
Don't mess with it. All right. Anyway, that's the PowerPole Vision. I thought it was cool. I think it's new.
Yep. It's going to be very, very
I would say
cool.
A quarter of the guys have one of these. There's like one that's talking about it.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch more guys that'll run it. It's kind of like the breaks. If you guys watch the BPT that's about to go down on Lake Gunnersville, because they can only scope for 3 hours.
Yeah.
This is the year that you're going to go, oh, what's that on the back of Jacob Wheeler's boat?
Yep.
What's that on the back of Drew? What's that on the back of Justin Lucas's boat?
That's
guys who have never had it before are finally going, okay.
We're going to have to maximize the amount of time. We're going to have to be more efficient with the time when they're forward facing, for sure. Yeah.
All right, we can take that.
Okay.
We can take that off the screen there.
All right.
And we are going to run the first break of the day. And then when we come back, we will talk with Scott, answer some questions, and talk about what's new. Primarily, Lowrance has made an announcement about some new tech that some guys are really excited about. Other guys have questions about.
Yep.
You can talk about that now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's all out. So it is BTL on a Wednesday. Scott Palmer from the Bass Tank in studio. We'll be back in about a minute, and we'll also turn the ring light on so you can see your lovely.
So see my lovely face this time.
We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Before there were hashtags, there were handshakes and shared stories. They gave us confidence to make our first cast and chase our dreams. They taught us to fish, and in the process, taught us about life. They taught us that success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about lifting others up. The future isn't just about selling tackle. It's about 3 simple words. Let's go fishing. Here's to the original influencers.
When I'm in a tournament, conditions are constantly changing and every second matters. With the Deep Dive app, I can instantly pull up all the current lake conditions all in one spot. So no more looking at weird government websites. In just one quick glance, I have water clarity, water level, wave forecast. It's all right there in the Deep Dive app. Download the Deep Dive app and get all the tools you need to put together an awesome tournament.
All right, we are back. BTL on a Wednesday. Scott Palmer in studio. You're perusing. You can throw that computer back up here if you want to now, so you can
So I can
read the
participate.
comments and what's going on. Okay, a couple comments from that caught your attention. The waterproof one, it is currently rated water resistant IP67 certified. I think we all know what that means, Scott.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I don't know, but not. I mean, you can get it.
It can sit on your boat and get rained on.
Okay.
So you're not going to go take it 9 feet down and sit there and play with it under the water. I know that my understanding is that Power Pole is working on, reclassifying it as what. Anytime something new comes out, it takes whiles to get things certified, and so my understanding is they're working towards those higher certifications. So then they can make a claim that it's waterproof at some point. So that's my understanding.
Difference between this and a couple people, like if you walk through Walmart, you can get like one of those giant ass TVs now, and it's like $400. And why is this $3,000? And those.
Well, first of all, good luck mounting that 75-inch TV to your boat. Second of all, the first time it rains, that will short out. So if you want to just have 4 trips out and you've now burned $2,000. The other thing is those are AC. This is a DC. This will run on 9 to 16 volts. So your house battery, basically, electronics battery. But a TV is AC. So now you're going to have an inverter. That's a whole other power equation difference. So I get there's a little bit of sarcasm in that.
You're paying for a little bit of plug and play here.
You're playing for something that's marine rated. That's a whole idea, because the other answer is why not get a tablet? The way we started, because that TV and the outdoor sunlight is not rated for an outdoor screen. There's a reason why there's, if you guys have a TV on your patio outdoors, it's rated for outdoors. Or you're just risking that and it's under a covered patio, so it's out of the elements. But if you were to take that and go put that in the sun, that thing is not going to last long. That screen is not going to last. It's not an outdoor screen rated. Again, I'm going to dive deeper into some of the other features, like they've got this enhancement that we didn't even get into. That's stuff we don't have enough time here. But enhancement on the Google Earth, where it will show some of the features a little bit clearer.
Okay.
And so that's stuff that I'm going to do later on. It's just we just don't have enough time right now.
All right, let's talk about the hottest thing going right now. I don't know much about it. What did Lowrance drop?
So Lowrance dropped the new XL transducer, and it's kind of funny because we've known about it. They always let us know, like, hey, here's how things are going to happen. We're going to let you guys know about it. The assets are going to be available at this time for you to, be prepared for the drop. And then we're going to make the public announcement, and then we're going to ship on this date. And got leaked a little bit sooner than it was supposed to. Not by much. It's not like 2 months ahead, but a little bit.
I will say this to our listeners. You know a lot of stuff. You're very good about just I'll start asking questions and you'll be like, nope, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, that's his way of saying he knows and he cannot say.
I can't say, because we
you've
do.
done that for like you've had stuff like I don't know about a lot, like the pro stat, like the guys who know, but it's I'm not saying it's like Cold War era stuff, but between the companies, like it's pretty tight-lipped on new stuff that's coming down the pipeline.
It is, and I sign a contract. In order to be able to sell all this stuff, I have to sign a contract that says, it's basically an NDA that says, hey, you're going to be made aware of certain things, and you will adhere to our, policies and procedures. And I take that very serious. Some people want to be the first one to announce it. I want to be the guy that's known as doing things the right way, and so. Yeah. Okay.
So the Lowrance Active Target 2 XL live sonar system. I'm looking at the picture. I just pulled it up right there. That looks like a black box.
It's a black box.
Is that their first black box?
No. Active Target's always had a module. Mega Live is the one that didn't have a black box.
That was it.
So this is, there it is. So the transducer looks different, but if you look at it, realize that it still has 3 steps. There's still one facing forward, backwards, and down, right? Plain and simple. With this, one of their big pushes is that you can switch from down to forward mode via software instead of having to physically change the position of the transducer.
So whether you have the Fish Obsessed or the one that comes with it or the Beat Down or whatever, you have to turn it. It takes it out of that perfect setting that you have, that you've used the level to make sure it's a half a degree up and it's shooting perfectly forward. Now you can lock it in place and you can switch between perspective and forward.
Not perspective.
Down and
forward.
Okay.
And then the other option, like you had mentioned, was the ability to run 2 of these together, still 2 separate systems to create your 360.
But it requires 2 transducers
and 2 modules.
So that would be illegal on the Elite series where you're only allowed to have 1 current transducer.
And I suspect that this did not get, because correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I understand it, they have an approved equipment list that they go through.
Correct.
And I don't think this would have made that list because they weren't ready to announce it. And they would have had to disclose it before the rules got in place. So this isn't even a thing for, for this year. I think it'll probably in the fall when they go through that list.
So where do you put the second one to get it to 360?
So there's going to be some. This is why there's a lot of questions about this, and I was hoping there'd be a little bit more. Clarity. I'm always a bigger fan of, hey, announce it, and then let's have it available.
Yeah, Bass did put this transducer on the approved list the day it came out, but it's
one transducer, still one transducer, because it's going to count towards your transducer. So. So that's interesting that they modified that.
We have multiple people. So Jody White works for MLF. Then we have Clint Bartlett, who I had on the show, as a Yamaha guy. He's saying technically it's not on the list for 2026. So anyway, walk through how where do you mount the 2? I don't have a visual.
Okay,
of how this
so
works.
Imagine that for the 360, you're going to have a perspective, right? So Scout, perspective, landscape, whatever model manufacturer, it's going to be sideways. Well, you're going to mount this other one next to it to give you basically the 360-degree coverage. Now, as imagine 135 degrees, what it is. I'm gonna make you do math. What is 135 times 2?
270.
There you go. Good. Hey, Matt is doing math. We're evolving. So it's really more like 270, but there's going to be some overlay, and then you've got to do the ping syncing. Where Lowrance actually syncs the transducers together, so don't get any weird fluffing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a setting. The yellow wake wires tied together, go into settings and change it from wake up to ping sync.
But the biggest thing that I want to make a point of here that we've been saying for years when people go, well, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
The general consensus when you're sitting there popping a cold Coors Light chatting is, well, 360 live is next, instead of having your angle that we're actually having transducers where you can see less.
Yep.
This is going to be 360 live.
So it is. But the thing to remember is in perspective landscape scout mode, basically the side mode, we still have a cone angle.
You said 3 things really quick there.
Landscape, scout, and perspective. That's what Humminbird, Lowrance, and Garmin call their sideways version.
Okay, so that's the same thing that you just named all 3.
That's
landscape, scout, perspective, the same thing. That's where the transducers on the side, the guys in Florida, like that's how Scott Martin won that Open, looking for betting fish.
I said when you're
on
betting
the
fish, that's exactly
gives
right.
you a pie that
exactly.
you're looking at instead of a beam.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still beam, but
It's still a beam, but there's still and I'm going to aim towards the camera here. There's still a cone angle. So it's
Yeah.
only so
but you're turning it that way.
you're turning it that way, right? So this is forward.
Yeah.
This is forward, and then I'm just turning it on its side.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's still a cone angle. So as it's going out, there's still voids in that.
Okay. I'm not
So-
trying to interrupt you on everything.
no,
I just,
you're-
if I don't understand it, I know there's probably
Yeah,
three
yeah,
other people
Yeah,
that don't
no,
understand.
absolutely. And so that's where you have to be careful because a 360 is a true side imaging transducer that's just rotating. So it's got a lot more water column coverage, top to bottom, than this live sonar does right now. Now, when I get my hands on, I'm hoping to have my hands on one of these XLs towards the end of the month, hopefully. They were saying originally they were going to say it was going to start shipping in February. I think the demand is going to be higher because it got leaked a little bit sooner. I think the demand got higher. I think that's going to push a little bit. We'll see. I hope not, because I have a lot of interest in it already.
So you're interested in seeing, so like a 360 in a Humminbird, and I'm not trying to get you in any trouble with any of it. I'm
No,
just
no,
trying to
I
compare.
don't-
So a
I
360
sell
in
them all.
Humminbird, this thing's like, I consider that more like radar with that, where it's going, wow,
Yep.
wow,
Yep.
wow, but it's getting the top of the water column all the way to the bottom of the water column, but it is not truly live. It's getting a different picture every time it goes around.
Yep.
And updating that. This is going to be live. So you'll see fish
Swimming.
swimming around and
Yep,
all
in real
that
time.
in real time.
Yep.
But you're interested in seeing if with these two transducers, it's capable of capturing the top to the bottom and the live all around it, or if there are going to be sections that are less clear or less
Not less clear, just blind.
Just
So
blind,
let's
okay.
take what we currently have with the known transducers, and I turn them sideways.
Yep.
That is perspective, scout, or landscape. Those are the three modes that are transducers turned sideways. There's a cone angle coming out like this right here.
Okay.
And so if I'm in a certain depth of water, there's a section of that water column that is just missing, just flat missing, that I'm not seeing it. And there's maybe a section above me that is just flat missing. That's why if I'm out in 30 foot of water, you can black out some of the screen. Draw your 20-degree angle, like on a Garmin, it's 20 degrees, 20-degree angled at 11 degrees down. There's going to be water column that is missing. Now, if I get up in like 5 feet of water, 10 feet and less, I start missing a lot less, right? There's a lot less that's actually missing.
Okay. And then do you have to have another like turret or a side pole to mount this second
No,
transducer
so
on?
the
Or
way
will there be two
they're
on
gonna
it?
have their mounts where they're gonna kind of almost like
double mount.
a double mount.
Okay,
Like
so
it's gonna be they're setting up to be able to do this where, hey, I've got two transducers hanging off the front that are gonna sync together.
Okay.
That's what they're doing. So I think there was a total of like, I may be wrong on this. I have to go back and look at the literature on it. The announcement that we got. I won't say, but there's like 10 different SKUs that came out with it. And what I mean when I say SKUs, I'm talking mounts, transducers, modules.
Okay.
Like 10 additional products that.
So is this the first step? Is this one of those deals where in 3 or 4 or 5 years, whatever, we'll look back and we'll have one transducer that'll be 360 live, but this is the first kind of iteration of that 360 live that then every time after will get more and more streamlined until you come out with a transducer that's going to look completely different. It's going to be like a mixture of like a hub thing that'll have one, but it's all in one. Is that like, I would have to assume that just streamlined in the way that things have progressed, that is eventually going to be what it is.
I think you're right. I don't know what the time frame is. It could be 3 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 10. Because you look at like just running this. Let's say we put this XL on there.
Okay.
And I've got 2 of them. That's a lot of stuff on the front of a trolling motor.
Yeah.
Just from a physical standpoint. Forget about the cost. Forget about all that. Let's not even talk about that for the moment. Let's just talk about physically. That's taking up a lot of room. And then the guy says, "Hey, I want to run a regular 360 up there as well." Okay, that's how we do this. Right now there's a lot of guys that run 360, and then they run a forward-facing sonar transducer, and it's a puzzle to put it together where there's no interference, just physical interference. Forget electrical interference, just physical interference.
Where it's like, hey, this is hanging
Yep.
in the front of something that needs to read it, and it can't read through this other-
Exactly. And so it's when the trolling motor swings, I don't want to hit it, and then I also want to be able to see through it. And so at some point, it's going to have to be a lot more of a package deal where maybe there is a forward facing with a built-in 360 that's rotating, that's live, or maybe it's not rotating. There's no telling where this is going to go, but I know that there's a lot of really, really smart people working on it.
Okay.
You know, and it's going to be very interesting where the industry goes. You know, I think this year, I think we're going to see some new products this year. I think this is kind of the tip of the iceberg with Lowrance. Let's do some math. Forward facing sonar truly came about in 2018. And you say, what do you mean? Panoptix, Garmin Panoptix was available before that, but LiveScope came out in 2018.
Pause.
Okay.
I've talked about this for 8 years. I've never asked this question.
Oh.
I remember the Panoptix,
Yep.
the blobs.
The blobs.
First time I ever saw it was on Matt Lee's boat at Table Rock Lake at a
Mm-hmm.
media event. Threw Alabama rig out. He was like, watch this. And he you don't know what you're looking at because you're not used to TV screen. You're used to reading the right to left scroll. And like lemmings, they came out of the trees. He's like, that's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then we just went back to regular fishing. Didn't really understand it. But then all of a sudden it went from Panoptix to LiveScope, which to me, in my head, is it different technology? Did they just rename it? Like, what's the difference between Panoptix and LiveScope?
The easiest way I can explain it to you is Panoptix was 2D. Okay.
Well, it's all
Now, think of it from a 2D transducer.
okay.
LiveScope was down imaging. Compare those two side by side. A lot higher frequency, much more detail.
Okay.
Right. So Panoptix was more the blob technology, and the 2D still, it had its purposes and it was good. And there were guys that, I still use 2D to this day, but that's kind of, think of a technology like that's the advancement in it. So it's a different.
You took the 2D, turned it forward, and looked it out as what the
Well,
I'm trying to put this in the most layman's terms.
And that's what I'm trying to do as well. I'm talking about from a relationship of a VHS to a 4K or Blu-ray.
Okay,
That's
still video.
It's still
totally
video.
different technology.
Totally different technology.
That makes sense. So Garmin had the Panoptix.
Yep.
And they were saying, we are making this better. So then in that 18 year, when it switched from the orange and red blobs to the LiveScope, was like when the TVs switched over, was it like analog to digital or whatever that was, where it was like,
we went from the tube TVs to the flat screen TVs, the LCD plasmas, things like that.
I got it. Sorry.
And you look at, and here's then, the advancement from you just use Garmin, for example, from the 32 to the 34. It was like going from a plasma LCD to these new 4K screens,
100%.
right? Like it's just continued to evolve. What's next? How much better can it get than 4K, right?
You were on a timeline. I stopped you at 2018.
So 2018, LiveScope came out and really didn't start getting picked up until 2019. That was kind of the buzz year. That's really when it really exploded. The crappie guys were the first ones to pick it up, and I remember talking to bass guys saying, "Oh, I don't really see the advantage of this," and it was like, you keep saying that. I got to spend a year of having it by myself and doing things that other people couldn't. And then there was two events, the Lake Fork, Patrick Walters, so I think we've talked about that, jerk baiting those fish, and the the MLF event up north when they're smallmouth. That's when the bass guys got on board with it and realized, like, oh shoot, this is a thing. Then Lowrance came out with Active Target 1, and it just kind of now it's been an arms race. Mega Live came about, it's been an arms race. 4 years later, the LVS 34 comes out.
So 2022 is when LVS 34 came out.
February of 2022.
So for 18, 19, 20, and 21, it was the LVS 32. And the only thing that was really improving was the screen size, the screen quality, how fast everything's working, same black box, everything. Then the 34 comes out in 22.
That's exactly right.
New black box, same black box.
Same black box.
Same black
box. Okay. So you can upgrade your 34 just via the transducer.
And biggest difference between the 32 and the 34?
Target separation is the big one. And it's a sliding scale. Like my crappie guys still like the 32. And
really?
And I can, that's a whole other thing I can get into with. At the end of the day, even though it says the cone angles are the same, the way the elements are interlaced are different. And so this sweet spot of the 32 is a little bit bigger than it is on 34. And so I like that because it's a lot more accurate at distance. And if that fish is glowing, I am putting it on his nose. Whereas with a 32, it's a little bit wider. So it looks like it's glowing and I may be off just a little bit more. Now I'm probably still in that fish to strike zone. Obviously, there's a lot of crappie being caught that way, but the major difference is outside of 40 feet. Inside of 40 feet, the 34 is here, and as you get further and further away, I'll turn it this way. Sorry, I forget the camera. As you get further and further away, the differences get further and further apart. So, and then the 32 is really limited to range. The best I could ever get out of a 32 was 85 feet, and it was pretty distorted.
Yeah,
there.
I remember when that came out. It was right at the beginning of the year, and I was talking to you, and I was like, "Do I need it?" And you're like, "It." And that was still before we were hitting fish at 100, 120 feet.
Yep.
And you're like, you don't have to have, it's not like you're going to be like, oh my God. But then when you put it on and you're able to see your bait hit at 100, 120. So that's the increased target separation and the distance.
Correct. Yeah.
What is that like? This is a dumb question. I don't even know if you can answer it. They look the same. One's slightly bigger. It looks just a little bit different than the 32, but what the hell's in there that makes it more target separation? Does that make sense?
Yeah. And the 32 and the 34 are actually different transducers. The 34 or the 32 is a pie. It's a pie.
Okay.
The 34 is a square. It looks, and then if you look at it, the elements are bigger.
Okay.
And in this world, size matters. I mean, if they could make it, the 62 is a prime example. That's a massive transducer. Mm-hmm. And let's say they came out with a 64, and that would be the 34 at really long range, but the 62 as it is has big elements, but they didn't worry as much about the clarity. It's the clarity of a 32, just deeper water, longer distances, so you don't get the same resolution. The other way is the way they interlace. Again, you've got the 3 steps that are step.
Been through that a bunch. You have videos on that on the Bass Tank.
Yep, exactly.
You talked about it on the show.
Well, with the 34, they X'd those a lot more because each one of those steps has a cone or covers 15 degrees of the water column, top to bottom. And what they did, instead of laying them side by side and stitching them, they crossed them. So this guy may be crossing this guy, and this guy may be crossing this. I don't know if anybody can see that. Yeah. My fingers don't work that way, but
that's why you see lines on your.
That's why you see. That's why you see that sunburst, and exactly that's where the autofocus comes.
Ghost tree on the 32, the stitching. That's why sometimes
that's why it was so bad. That's why you would get a blind spot because of the way it was stitched together. The 34, there might still be a ghost tree there depending on your water, but you can fish through it because you're not just hitting that sonar frequency pile up.
Makes sense. All right, we'll continue on the timeline then. So it's at.
Well, I'm just saying that. Just stepping back and looking at it, saying, okay, Lowrance has played in catch up in that time frame. We've had Mega Live 2 come out. There's been innovation, but it's been a couple years. It's been a couple years since we really had that thing. And when Lowrance announced theirs, do you think that Garmin's is setting idly by? Do you think Johnson Outdoors is setting idly by? I don't think so.
No. So that's where I'll ask you then. So you don't have to say it. So I would assume Garmin's got to have something that's coming down the pipeline.
You would think.
And then you would think that if there was a edge for Humminbird, which from all indications I've seen their active target 2, the ice guys absolutely love it. They love the original one, but their active target 2 is incredibly comparable to some of the others here. But you would think if it came to 360 live stuff with their 360 transducer, what they have working on, that they would be like, hey, lock the door to the shed. We've got the nuts because we have the 360
and that's exactly right. I want to make it very clear. I don't know anything. That's not me
hypothesization.
That's not Scott saying, oh, he knows something he can't say. No, I'm saying I don't know anything. I'm just sitting back as an observer being in this industry, seeing what happens, knowing that there's no way that those other 2 brands are going to let Lowrance jump out ahead of them. Just like Lowrance isn't going to let them, anybody else jump out ahead. It's an arms race. It's always an arms race. And so anyone who doesn't like technology in the fishing industry, I'm sorry to tell you, it's not going to stop.
Okay, this came across. I have no idea if it's valid or not. I'm going to throw this up here. So Bo Judd 1965 says live 360 can be achieved by putting 6 60-degree transducers together, rotating around a center axis. The hard part is making it as compact as possible and building a black box powerful enough to blend.
You are not wrong. You can absolutely do that. There's no doubt. Here's what I know for a fact. They could make a transducer, a forward-facing transducer that does 360 live, that covers top to bottom water column, that could shoot 300 feet, and you could probably count the scales on the fish. That technology is available. The problem is there's not a fisherman that is watching this, that if that was available, and I said, hey guys, this is available on our website, go pick it up today, taking pre-orders. Oh, by the way, it's $100,000.
I know a couple.
That there might be a few.
I know a couple.
But those few
I know a couple who can't afford it and would put
and listen,
payments.
We fishermen are resourceful. I've always said that we're resourceful. We want it bad enough, we'll figure out a way to do it. But okay, so let's say that this is a $100,000 transducer.
Okay. And
company X that produced this had to invest $5 million to produce it, and they sold 10 of them at $100,000. It's a business model there.
So it exists, is what you're saying?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not saying.
You're saying they can do it.
Yeah, the technology's there. I mean, look at Oculus technology.
I've never even heard of that.
You won't, because the transducer is about I want to say it's about 150.
Can I look this up?
Yeah.
Oh, is this what they're doing in the Marlin world? In the open ocean, where they're talking about like $500,000 units and all that stuff, where it's like a big thing where they're literally able to see billfish within like a half a mile of
that's part of that system. Yeah, because you've got to have the unit, you've got to have the software. Oculus.
How do you spell that?
You're gonna make me spell.
I'm good at math. I'm not good at spelling.
I believe they spell it OCULUS is probably how.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sonar.
Mm-hmm.
Blueprint Subsea Oculus. Redefining multi-beam imaging.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's it. Because that's what forward facing is.
So I watch. You watch the dude from the Bad Company
when I can. Yeah,
it's a badass channel. He's like a billionaire. He was like, I'm gonna go live my life. And then he did like several $100 million yachts with like, and then hired the captains and crews and like goes around and chases the biggest marlin bite. I think they have this stuff because he was talking about it.
Because I think he said
you
gotta have you gotta have the transducer, and then you got to have the software to run it on a unit. So you're talking about probably $500,000 all in on this.
Oculus imaging. Does this mean anything to you when you see it 375 kilohertz? Is that big?
That's the frequency that it's running at.
Is that like insane?
Well, so it's going to be a high powered. And see, look at this. This is on our ROV as well. That image you're looking at, right?
Oh, that's an ROV.
That's an ROV.
How is 200 meters operating range?
That's 600 feet approximately. Over 600 feet. I mean,
and
what
this
meters?
Is just this one. I don't know if this is like the right one, but okay. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I meant to ask you about that. The way I understand it, like in the tournaments, the guys are like, hey, the guys can literally see like 360 degrees, like there's a blue marlin, and then go troll for it.
Yep.
And the guys who don't have it are like, dude, we don't have $500,000.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine the best site imaging. Let's just dumb this down I don't say dumb it down, but let's go back in what we would consider older technology site imaging. Every manufacturer out there has the ability to run some amazing site imaging, but the transducer would be 3 feet long, and you would have to have 6 battery banks to power them. The challenge that these manufacturers always have is, number one, it as expensive as this stuff is, it still has to be consumable by the masses. And I know guys in the comments, like I feel it too. I deal with this every day. This stuff has gotten expensive, and it's going to continue to get more expensive, but people are still buying it. You know, at the end of the day, people still buy it. We fishermen are definitely resourceful. We figure out a way. So that's number one. Is this something consumers would even buy? Can they even afford it? Number two, okay, logistically, how do we fit this on a boat? If I put a 3 foot long transducer on the back of my bass boat, that bass boat's going to change the way it runs. You know, I mean, plain and simple. There you go. There you go.
It looks like 360, and it looks like 360 and perspective.
Yep.
But it's live.
Yep.
And that's the boat, and it's making like new live images as they're moving.
Yep. That's exactly right.
And then they're able to pick out, oh my God.
Yep.
That's at 53 meters.
Which is, hey, your math lesson.
150 feet.
There you go. Yeah. So this software, hey guys, this is available for you right now. Hey, does it count as a transducer if you deploy an ROV? That's a gray area.
I believe that would that fall under like drone rules?
Maybe.
It would have to fall under Aquaview rules, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
What's the difference between an Aquaview and a drone?
Well, an Aquaview is a camera that you just drop down. It's literally
okay. So you're saying St. Lawrence River, you want to see where they are? You just drop the damn drone, or you drop the ROV down and drive around the lake until you find where the school is.
Yeah, why not? I don't know. You just go down and park it in front of the boulder, and then you watch your. I mean, I don't know. Sorry, I just had a squirrel run through my head, and I jumped on that.
No, it's good. So here's the next question I want to ask. I've been asked this multiple times in the show, and I don't have an answer. You'll have an answer to this. You mentioned 2023, 2024, 2025. Yeah. Now we're at 2026.
Yeah.
Everything seems to have new models every single year.
Yeah.
But I've heard two trains of thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
One, nothing is coming out because the next thing that's coming out is so crazy as far as what everything looks like that they're not. And two, we have reached which you just kind of debunked, but we've reached the maximum of it, and it's the 34, and they can't really get any better than that. And that's what forward-facing sonar technology is, which is why we haven't seen new 36s, 38s, 40s, 42s every single year to try to get more money out of our pocket.
Here's what I've been around manufacturing and R&D departments, in a past life, right? I've been through the process enough to know that when a new product is released, you instantly start saying, okay, we're in production. And then guys, for the time being, I'm going to section off so many engineers or so many people on this team to improve this, to fix the bugs. What can we do to enhance this? And then there's a select couple guys that say, hey, your job is to replace this, not today, but start working on its replacement. And you have X many years that, you're basically roadmap.
So that's some nerd that we've never seen that locks himself in for 3 years and then says, hey guys, what do you think of this?
Yeah, exactly. He may not even say, I think I've replaced this. And so I firmly believe that whether it's Garmin, the Rance, Humminbird, as soon as they release something, they're working on improving that exact product. Software updates, little tweaks, let's maximize this, because you don't want to release a product if you still had meat on the bone of the previous product you released, right? Like if I can still push something with software updates to get better functionality that customers have already bought, I want to give them their best value. And that way, whenever I don't want to say, hey, this is it, and instead of a software update that I could have done, I implemented that in the new one. So come spend another $2,000 with me. The customers are going to get burned on that, time and time again. And so you're going to try to improve everything you can with what you currently have. Then you're going to try to replace it, but you're going to start working on you're planning on replacing it in a certain period of time. And depending on the product, depending on technology, I attended a conference one time, and it was about technology. And they said every 10 years, technology doubles. Because, and think about it like this, think about the microchip. We could make microchips very, 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 very small, but their lifespan is not very long because of heat dissipation. So until a new technology comes about that the heat dissipation, new material comes about that will allow that heat dissipation to be that microchip to be just literally nano size, technology is there to make the microchip that small, but the technology is not there to make it consumable, producible. I just saw Matt's eyes. He just glazed over. So I apologize.
No, that makes 100% sense. So I'm chatting with guys, and they're like, man, I think I need to get a new 34 for this year because it's not as crisp at 100 feet as it was when I first got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that got me worried that I've got a 6-month-old one. Am I missing distance because of it? And then I started thinking, well, do the things is it like milk? Do they spoil the older they get? So I know you've got a bunch of guys on here, like you're going to use that same transducer as long as you don't do anything dumb and slice it or hurt it or break it. And I know you have to be careful on what you say, but is there such a thing as the more you use it and the more it's been and the older it is, assuming everything is copacetic, you haven't screwed anything up, everything's straight, will that thing look and see as good? And this goes for any of the three brands on day one as it is 2 years later?
That is
such a loaded question.
That's a loaded question. And here's what I'll tell you. we do rigging, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so adamant on installation being, it's not just that it works right now. Is this going to stand up to the course of time? Your trolling motor is sitting there twisting. Even if you've got it on a separate pole, it's sitting there twisting. We're sitting there twisting wires.
Every single time.
Every single time. There's
inch.
a little bit. And it's not much, but just do that a million times. And so that's where guys on, my pros, 1 year, that transducer is probably going to have some degradation because that's equivalent to most people what they would do in 7 years.
And it's because the
putting it in the water
cables that are
it's
attaching,
more the internal, it's more the mechanical components. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Let me make this connection. So you have your black box, you have your cables, and then you have your transducer.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you use it, the more, I guess, interference has potential to get through because everything, like you get some stuff that frays, stuff that gets older.
Fray your internal, foil. There's a foil shielding, and if you guys have all had the misfortune to cut one, you'll see that there's a foil shielding in there, and that is literally to protect it from magnetic interference. If that breaks down, now magnetic interference starts having the capabilities to get in.
That's the fuzzy stuff.
That's the fuzzy stuff. That make it worse. But also the cable itself, to just take a piece of wire and just sit there and slowly do this. And you're going to do this. You're like, this is not doing anything. But what you're going to find is over time, just doing the same motion, you're going to get more bow out of that because it's beginning to fatigue.
So it's not in your head that you're like, oh, this isn't as clear as it was 2 years ago. If
possible.
you fish a ton. Now, if it's in the garage and it's absolutely perfect and you've been in that, it should technically work identical to the day that it was installed.
Correct. If I put one in the water, and then took it off and set it in my garage for 2 years when I put it back in the water.
So you can wear out a scope.
I believe you can. I believe you can. We're thermal cycling these things as well. We live in Oklahoma, and everyone's like, oh, I turn my transducer off to move spots. By that point, it's unnecessary because I'm going to tell you right now, time and time again, I've gotten to the lake, turned my unit on, and my transducer's already overheated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the transducer, guys, all of these transducers have thermal protection built in. Turning them off, running around the lake, I'm going to tell you right now, is pointless. It's pointless because if they get overheated, and I know
you did that, and I said, quit doing that.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know how to turn it back on. Quit doing that.
I mean, if you want to, if it makes you feel better, just hit the transmit and be done. And by the way, pause versus transmit.
But does that also help then to put like the transducer shield on it if you know the boat's going to be out in the sun and baking on it and stuff like that?
Now, I will tell you that if I'm going to go idle around for the next 4 hours, sure, I'm going to turn my transmit off. There's no reason to have it clicking, but it's the old 255 method. When I'm running down the lake, I've got enough airflow across that transducer that it's going to keep it cool enough that it's fine. But I'm going to tell you right now, I've literally had the units off, get to the lake, start my units up, and it says transducer overheated. Put it in the water, and it comes back on. So there's nothing you can do unless you want to take your transducer off every time, keep it in the cab of your boat or in the cab of your truck.
Does water temperature impact the quality of your image and
to a degree? I'm not going to say that, it's better in 53 versus 63. But if you're using one of these power plant lakes where the water temp is like really, really
94.
high, 94 consistently and maybe higher possibly. Yeah, I think you're going to see.
Because like if you're in the winter, this is what I'm just thinking, and you're dropping it in 90-degree water, and then you get up into 20-degree water, and then dropping it. Like on the Crappie Chronicles, Bart had a show that was like the first time that the transducer said transducer too cold.
Yep.
They were like, oh, I didn't even know that was a function on this.
Didn't even know that was a possible. And that's why you have the ice fishing transducers, because they've got a built-in heating element, that way to keep that from happening. That is a possibility, and that's pretty extreme. But, the thermal cycle. So I do believe there is some degradation over time, but it's not for everybody. It's not everyone's going to experience that. If you believe your transducer is not as clear as it used to, look at how you've used it and look at how old it is. And I hate saying that. I'm not throwing any shade on them because like I've got transducers out there in the field that are 4 years old.
Yeah.
That the guys that I know for a fact bought for me, the first 34s that they bought, I'll use a 34 example. They bought it and they're like, they'll call and they've updated their units, everything else. I'm like, when are you going to, buy a new transducer, kind of joking because there's nothing to upgrade to. And they say, dude, my image is as good as it's ever been. And that's 4+ years. And so it really depends on what that has been through. It starts with the install, and then it continues going down. That's why we're very adamant with with how we install it, and that when we teach people to install it, that's why, I can't install every boat in the country, and there's guys that are very capable of doing it themselves. And so I just want you to arm people with that knowledge.
The screens, I hear guys talk about, oh, well, that looks good because it's a glass, like that's a saltwater screen that I have it on.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what screen do you have? And I'm like, whatever one Scott put on my boat. But then guys are like, well, look at this screen. Like this is, and then there were screens that recently like Garmin changed like out, and then they sold them. And then I know a bunch of guys who got them that were like, oh, this is like the deal on the screen. I'm like, I don't think that's the one I've got. But then it is. What's the difference between like, am I wrong? Like, is there like guys that are like, hey, I want a saltwater screen that I'm doing it with, and my image is better and it's clearer and
so
faster?
you're running the GPS Map 1643,
okay,
which is a saltwater rated unit. Okay, just so you're aware, you can take that in salt, and it's salt. You could go. That's the GPS Map family. When we're talking specifically Garmin here, is what Garmin would rate as their coastal, offshore. They call it offshore. So this is what you're going to see in yachts and things like that. The Echo Map is what they want us to sell in inland, and I sell a heavy dose of both.
Okay.
A lot of it comes down to the build quality. Not that the Echo Maps are not good, but just there's more put into the GPS maps, and they're saltwater rated. If you live on the coast and you're running an Echo Map, you're probably going to start seeing some. If you're around, when I say the coast, like you're in brackish water or fish the coast, you're going to see some corrosion build up on your Echo Maps, especially the ones with the cradles, because they're not.
So it's how it's built. It's not what is showing on the map.
No.
It's not like you're seeing different things on it. It's how the thing is built.
It's how it's processing. It's how it's put together. That's
salt
exactly
in the air and salt water.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've always liked now. Do they use a better screen, a physical mechanic, the actual screen itself better for an 8616 or the new 9000s than they do an Echo Map? Absolutely.
What do you mean a better screen?
So glass compared to a polycarbonate, light transmission, right?
I don't know. Explain it.
So
if you guys are bored with this or whatever, I'm totally on a tangent of just smoking
look,
you
as long as your listeners are enjoying this, we'll keep rolling with it.
I mean, we got over 250 people that are watching this live, and no one's told me to shut up in the comments yet. So.
Okay, well, we'll keep going. Like this is for you guys. So, but a glass screen is going to have better light transmission. Basically, I can see through it better than I can a polycarbonate.
Okay,
right? Does that make sense? Like, I mean, if you just held it up, you can see through.
Is it like looking through really clean glass as opposed to like the plexiglass of
yes. Yeah, think about like
the
that.
hockey arena?
Yes. Now that's a pretty different extreme, but yes, the same principle, right? The polycarbonate screens are very, very. It's not a plexiglass on these units. Let's not even go down that path. But it's a different material, and because it's not glass, there's a little bit less light transmission, so your image may not come through.
So why don't they put glass on those too? Just cost? Or is it because they know
here's a fun fact. Well, that's the thing as well. But I can bust a polycarbonate screen. Trust me, I've seen plenty of those. Okay. So, fun fact: one of the biggest cost drivers. And if there is a manufacturer out there that wants to correct me on this, I will stand corrected. But my understanding and talking with all the different manufacturers, one of the biggest cost drivers of these units is the actual screen itself. That is one of the biggest cost drivers. And that's why the cost jumps so much when you jump from a 10 to a 12 and a 12 to a 16, is because that screen is that much more expensive just because of what it is.
What percentage of guys are running polycarbonate on the BPT, the Elite Series, as opposed to the glass screens? If you were to take a completely just off the top of your head unofficial guess, percentage wise, what percentage of guys are running the polycarbonate screens?
I would say 50% would be my over under.
So 50-50.
Yeah. And the reason why is it probably has more to do with sponsorships than it does with because like if you're sponsored by a certain company, they're going to say, this is what we're going to give you. This is what you're going to run. If you don't want to run this, you can buy it at a discount, but you're going to pay for it. And so just knowing what they typically are running, I'm like, yep, that's polycarbonate, whatever. But here's the deal. Like, I'm the one to sit there and tell you guys that polycarbonate is not good screens. Like the screens are not that you have to have a glass screen.
I've ran polycarbonates a bunch.
Yes. Yeah.
Never.
The images are still good. Like, so we're kind of splitting hairs a little bit. I don't want to be like, oh, you can't do this. Yes, I have my preference, but at the end of the day, I've got some really good images on polycarbonate, screens that are polycarbonate that are a composite material.
All right,
It's not
total
true.
change of gears. So
Okay.
I just got back from Mexico last night. We
Yeah,
did a
rub it
really
in. Rub it in.
dude. I'm working on some potential stuff down there. It's badass. So I had Josh on last night, a bunch of the guys who were down there, right? So he's got either LVS 34s. Is it really windy today?
And yeah, crazy.
Or
windy.
active target 2s on his boat,
Yep.
depending on who prefers it. Josh, who's caught more 10 to 12 pounders down there than probably anybody on earth. Well, I know he has because he's the one who brought Scope down there.
Yeah.
To Bacharach, diehard active target 2 guy, particularly because he fishes in low light. I don't know if he's going to be pissed that I'm telling this. I don't care. Particularly because he fishes in low light conditions.
Mhm.
And on Bacharach, in any low light condition, the top 6 foot of the water column is the dirtiest. It goes from black screen to just trash
Yeah.
at low light. Every tilapia in the lake, every shad in
Yeah.
the lake, every
Yeah.
sick whatever is in there. And he said, take your LVS 34 and have fun and do it. He goes, but try to catch a fish in any of the low light conditions
Mhm.
out of that junk with your LVS 34.
Mhm.
He goes, the active target 2, and this is me paraphrasing, is blockier and allows him to see through the junk and identify the bass that are feeding
Mhm.
in the trash way better
Mhm.
than the Garmin.
Yep.
Is that just in his head or is he right?
I think he's onto something there. There's a, and forgive me, dude, if you're watching, I cannot remember your name, but there's a gentleman down in Texas, and he goes out at night. And
Brandon Burks.
Yep,
He's a Lawrence guy
he's a Lawrence guy. You know why he's a Lawrence guy?
because where he scopes is the dirtiest scoping lake in the world.
And he's doing it at night. Now, I can still catch fish at night with my scope, but you've seen it. Low light starts happening. My screen starts fuzzing out. But that's where you have to get in there and make adjustments. Guys, this is where you want to implement color limit. This is where you want to start sneaking that color limit up and up and up. There's not a whole lot of uses for color limit outside of dirty water, like pollen, turnover in the fall, pollen in the spring, and oh, by the way, low light conditions. This is not color gain. This is not your regular gain. This is color limit. But yes, that's why he does that. That's why he runs Lowrance, because of what he's doing. It's a better fit. It really is.
Okay.
So no, your buddy's not wrong, but he is also not. I would challenge him to go play with the 34s and play with some color limit and change some different color palettes. There's some things he's missing, quite frankly, but he's perfectly fine if he says, I don't want to screw with it. I just want to keep my active target too. Yeah, he's going to still smash them.
Well, I'm thinking about it though. Like you have a lot of Bass Tank products on those boats at Pro Bass Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hot as hell and sunny every single day down there.
Yeah.
And I didn't see a transducer shield in sight.
He should. He's got them.
He does have them?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We may have to get on him, throw
Yeah.
those transducer shields back on those things when it's 110
Yeah.
degrees.
Yeah.
Because based on what we've
Yeah.
been saying, like that
Yeah.
would probably be.
I think it's a good idea, because this is kind of where it goes to the what we talked about, the degradation. He is going to put more time on those transducers than your average guy is going to in 1 year than the average guy is in 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And so if there is a degradation, then he's going to experience it faster than other guys are just because he uses them more, just like an Elite Series guy, just like a guide is going to.
Yeah.
You're going to burn through transducer. There's a reason why a lot of these warranties say, if you're using this for commercial purposes, the year it's only 1 year versus a 2-year warranty, because we know you're going to be basically consuming it or using it more than the average guy is.
Difference. So you can get on Facebook Marketplace and buy 32s. You can buy 34s. You can get on the Bass Tank. You'll have, what do you call them? Refurbished.
Yeah, from time to time we'll have refurbs.
Refurbished ones. Walk me through the process of taking a used one and what you guys do to say, okay, like all this crap still works on this and this is good and we're confident in selling it to someone at a reduced price so you can get into it versus like just taking a wild card on something that you're buying you know, without that. Is that
and so,
a valid question?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways. You'll see if I say it's refurbished on my website, and it'll say factory refurbished, because I get opportunities to buy, Garmin Lowrance Humminbird stuff that has been factory refurbished
From them.
I have the utmost confidence in selling that stuff because the factory, the manufacturer is going to back me on it. And then if you see something that says used on my website, that's where we have taken in, maybe on trade or something like that. And guys, I get this question all the time. Hey, do you take stuff on trade? And it's on a case by case basis. At the end of the day, if it's something that I'm sorry, I can't give you any money for your Lowrance HTS Gen 1. Like, you're talking about 16-year-old technology. I'm going to insult you with the offer I'll make.
But like my stuff on my boat, when I upgrade for the new one, that will go as used because you'll have it. You'll check
yours
it,
a prime example.
Up to date.
That's right.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
And that
so
gives someone an opportunity to get a good deal.
That's exactly right. So what we will do is we'll power it up. We'll run it through, make sure it's updated, make sure everything is functioning properly. And then typically what it is, because we offer we call it's not a true extended warranty. It's a concurrent warranty. But on the used stuff, I can apply that as a warranty. That's a repair and replace. And so on my used stuff, I usually tie that to it. That way I can offer some form of a warranty with it as well. So, and some guys take advantage of it and other guys say, nope, I'm good accepting it. But we still try to do due diligence just because I'm not trying to sell junk. I want people to be happy with us.
What percent of guys have no concept? What percent of bass guys that you work with have no concept of tournament fishing, don't care about tournament fishing, aren't buying it because they saw it on tournament fishing?
You would be surprised. What do you think that percentage is? I'm gonna throw it back to you for a sec. What do you think that percentage is?
I think it's 40%.
You need to be. You're saying 40%.
40% of the people that come in that call the Bass Tank that say, I want a 16-inch screen, an LVS 34, a beat down mount, a fish obsessor, beat down transducer. I want to make sure I can link it so my buddy in the back can see it. I think it's 40% that aren't purchasing that because they saw it, heard about it. They don't tournament fish. They just want to catch fish and they're interested in being the most up to date.
Your number is way low. Your number is way low. One of the most common phrases I hear out of my customers is, I'm not a tournament angler. And then they turn around and deck out their boat like they're going to go fish tournaments. 2 screens up front, maybe a big screen at the console, or maybe 2 screens at the console. They still want all the goodies. And I'm like, hey, you're going to set your boat up like so-and-so. And the funny part is they go, who? Like, oh, I don't follow that.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I've got a guy that just came in. We did a nice big build. Got a beautiful cat, 25 Puma STS, beautiful boat. It's got a 300 on the back of it. And the reason why he didn't want to buy another boat was because it had a 250 on it. Well, he spent the same money that the tournament guys are, but he's not going to fish any tournaments at 300 on it. There's no trails that I'm aware of that allow a 300.
A couple team trails.
But he has no interest in that, and so, we don't have to rig your boat to the nines for you to go catch fish and have fun. But most of my customers are not saying they didn't fish tournaments. That is one thing. Maybe they fish tournaments at a different time in their life and they're just like, I'm kind of over the tournament stuff just because I'm ready to just go fun fish, but tournament fishermen don't drive near as much business as much as they might think they do. And one of the things that I was actually kind of happy with was not necessarily the restriction in screen sizes, but the restriction in transducers, because it was getting insane. It was getting so far out of touch with the average angler that, all right, I'm going to get on a soapbox. Can I get on a soapbox for a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do whatever you want.
So one thing that's awesome about fishing, in my opinion, is you can take a guy from, starting in high school, and if he is good enough and puts the time enough in, he can make it to the Elite Series. And everyone say, oh, he's got to take money to do that. That's never been not the case. It's always taken money to get anywhere you want to be, period. But if you are good enough to catch fish, you are going to find the money some way to keep going because you're going to bet on yourself. There's stories. I can't remember who it was that was literally living off a credit card. And I'm not advocating for not being financially responsible. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying he made the risk. He made the personal choice to live off. He believed in himself and he qualified.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I always take the Skeet Reese route.
It wasn't Skeet Reese. I cannot remember because it was on Keystone. It was a tournament on Keystone. That's how long it's been. They were throwing spinnerbait in the butt brush when it was flooded. And anyway, sorry. Squirrel.
Terry Butcher?
I don't know.
Edwin, Mark Tyler,
I don't know. He was a young kid at the time, and of course, he was probably our age.
not Luke Palmer. Is he fishing still?
I don't know. That's what I said. It's just I
Anyway,
just remember
continue.
it. Just remember it. But anyway, what happened was everyone acknowledges that it took money to make it to the pro series, professional level. Even if you're a football player, you don't think it takes money to get there?
Tad Dakes.
Maybe.
If Rich Lindgren pulls that name out, that's a hell of a call.
There's a video clip.
He
I
said
know.
Tad Dakes on Keystone.
I know that it was. I watched it on video, like actually. So there's a video clip of it somewhere. So internet, do your thing. I know you guys can come through on this. Anyway, but what happened was that's what made fishing so good was the average guy could relate to the professional level. Now they're doing it different, and maybe they have a few things, but it got so absurd that that connection was lost, if you will. And so I was kind of glad to see it be drawn back a little bit. I remember you asked me the question, hey, are these rules going to hurt your business? The answer was no. It was no then, because my average guys aren't seeking that. They're just wanting to have a really cool system and go fishing.
I like how clean my boat is. I have the one transducer. I don't have to worry about it. I've got the one graph, the other. I would like to have the brakes on in the events, but it feels manageable.
It feels manageable, right? And
everyone is everyone's very similar.
Yep.
In what they have.
Yep.
Some guys might have 3 up front or a 360. You know, it feels. So I'm not saying it's cheap. It's not cheap.
The other side of it is I talk to customers every day, and I hear say I'm not a tournament fisherman. They say, Scott, I don't even know how to turn this stuff on, and I don't want you spend. I feel like you're wasting your money at that point, and I don't want that. Yeah. I want, if you buy something from me or anybody else, if you have it on your boat, I want you to know how to use it. Because I'm not a big fan of wasting money. I don't have that kind of money just to blow and just on stuff that I'm not going to use. And so, guys are like, oh, I've got to have this thing. I've got to have this thing. And then it sits back there and I hear, I don't even turn it on. Well, why'd you buy it? Well, they told me to buy it. Let's not do that, and, the side facing live sonar transducers started to try to grab a little traction. And
there's so many guys who were like, dude, those lasted 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You see them, one's angled up, one snapped off.
Yeah. And that's it. It's a bad spot to put a very expensive transducer. But even the guys that survived with what you're looking at, it was really hard to understand because it's such a sliver of what you're doing. Now I get it. Trust me, because I used to do it with my trolling motor. And before that happened, I was doing it with my trolling motor. I'd leave my trolling motor deployed, turn it sideways, and I would idle around. And so I could see it in real time. But it was so hard to be like, oh, by the time you saw it, you can't set a waypoint on it because it's gone.
Yeah.
But again, I'm kind of getting off. I am squirreling here.
No,
that's the whole point is just that it was getting so far away from it. 6 graphs, 7 graphs, and this other thing. And it's just like,
it's almost like with MLF saying you can do it for one period at the lower level, the mid level, and not I promise you're seeing the breaks, you're seeing all this stuff because the guys are like, I need to maximize my time that I have with it. You're seeing it on the Elite Series. Hey, I'm only going to have half of these events that I'm going to be able to use it in. If that's the deal, I need to have it. So what I've noticed is a trend of making sure that you know exactly what you're doing. There's a reason that you're doing it and you understand what you're looking at, because instead of having, I got all day to figure it out, my stuff's a little bit off, but I catch it eventually. You're like, if I only have 3 hours, I need to be on this fish. Every single cast, I need to be the distance from it. So it's almost incentivized understanding, utilizing, and knowing your electronics more than if there were no restrictions at all.
No, you're exactly right. And that's where, it does. It incentivizes you. It incentivizes you to go back and relearn side imaging again, and if that's an art that you've lost, to have better map study, everything that's on these boats, whether you've got a forward facing sonar or not, is a tool. The maps are a tool. The side imaging is a tool. The down imaging is a tool. The forward facing is a tool. Your trolling motor is a tool, just like your fishing rod is a tool. Whether you're throwing a spinnerbait or a minnow, they're just tools trying to accomplish.
People call me a tool for throwing.
Well, that's true. They do. So Matt, you're a tool, but
Am I the first person to ever actually say that Matt was a tool on BTL?
For throwing a minnow, not as a human being. Come on.
But the at the end of the day, it's just stuff that you're trying to. I mean, are we going to go back to 90 horsepower outboards? I always say that everyone has a technological limit line that they're not willing to cross,
which is fine. Different strokes,
and that's fine.
Folks.
Listen, and you are welcome to have your personal opinion. Say, I'm not going to cross this line. That's perfectly fine. I'll tell you where mine is. I'm not a big fan of the VR headset ideas. I think it's cool, and would I do it to just see what it is? Where the heads up display, but I fear it. And this is my own musings. And if it becomes a thing, it becomes a thing. I won't participate in it personally, but that's my personal technological line, because I do worry about a safety concern, because I've used those and I've walked myself into a wall. And you don't want guys out there fishing all of a sudden walk themselves off the boat. It becomes a safety issue as much as anything else. Plus, I just enjoy being able to see nature. I can look at a screen, but I also look up and I'm in nature. And the minute I start putting it right here, I might as well. What is that movie with Bruce Willis? Is it they never leave their house. They're just robots that go out into the world.
There's a ton of movies like that.
I think is it Symbiote? Is it Symbiote?
It might be. There's another one called Ready Player One.
There's exactly. Very similar. We still have to keep that connection with it. To keep this sport alive, we still have to keep the connection with actually being out there and doing it. Yeah. So everyone's got a technological line where it is. And anytime the argument starts coming up, it's okay, well, where is your line? Tell me what your line is, because you can't say you don't like technology because you have an outboard motor on the back of your boat. Even if it's carbureted, that's still some really cool technology. Like even if you went to a paddle, that paddle is still mechanical advantage. That's still technology. Go get a cane pole. Well, let's get back to cane poles. Cane pole is still a technology. The thing that separates us humans from other animals is our ability to reason and develop technologies to give us an advantage over nature. There you go. This TED Talk brought to you by.
Dude, I think that's a great. We're an hour and a half in, and I think if we dive through another thing, we'll be 3.5 hours in. Okay. We have a couple things to look at my boat. I did want to see, are these the bands that you're talking about?
Saw, I brought you a present.
Did you happen to bring a cover for the one that flew off on the
it might be in my truck. You never know.
So there's a bunch of these. I've never seen the straight bands before.
Yeah.
Like Can I open one?
Absolutely. Yeah. These are for you. I didn't know what color you wanted. So
no, that's perfect. So this keeps your, for all the technology that these companies have, they can't figure out how to keep a damn graph cover on a boat going 60 miles an hour down the highway.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And by the way, sometimes when they fly off, they go stories high.
And they sit there and then you hope that they don't hit the car behind you.
So that's the Bass Tank band. You put that around, that keeps your.
Yeah. It's very, very simple, guys. There's nothing crazy about this. It's a very simple idea.
$750 each, 2-pack for $15.
Yeah. Introductory rate for $15. Normally they're going to sell for about $20, but they come in 2-packs. So that is a price for 2 in each one.
It says the Bass Tank. That's your latest and greatest. Ooh, that would work. That's strength.
I say you can use it to strengthen yourself, to stretch, whatever.
Titties going. Get a little bit.
But we got blue, we got gray. We've been getting requests for red. And so if I get enough of that, I'll do a red with a white as well. So
I'm good with the black. I've only got 2 units up front.
Yep, exactly. So
I would say we would give a pack of those away, but court doesn't move until next week. So the suckers wouldn't get mailed until at least she's settled.
I'll tell you what, you let me handle it. You get your listener. You want to give a pack away. You tell me what they want. I will handle the mailing.
We've had a very active chat.
Okay.
Unlike Hellabass, I don't have a fancy random thing. So if you hear this, I'm scrolling up and down of all the comments that we've had the entire show.
Yeah.
As long as it's a decent comment.
Yeah.
We'll send it. You tell me when to stop. I have no idea where I'm at in it. You tell me when to stop.
Wait for it. And stop.
It is on One of a Kind 6606. Good point on not counting on inches. We'll work with that. So if that is you, email me, Matt at basszone.com with your mailing address and your name.
Yep.
And I'll send it to Scott. And then
he will send it to me, and I'll make sure it actually gets mailed out. And also tell him what color you want. You want the gray with the black, the blue with the white, or the black
You
with
could
the
just keep it simple and it's free.
white? I know, but I'm still going to give him preference. You know,
Okay.
I don't want to send him a blue one, my favorite, if he's got a red boat. That doesn't work. Come on.
That's
I'm a fisherman too. I get it.
I love how the hardest part of BTL is shipping.
I'll handle it. You just give me the name. I'll handle it. We're very set up to ship. man.
We are going to do more question shows this year on the water. One of the cool things that we did last year that got a lot of good feedback was when you kind of walked through. We went through the side imaging settings for 45 minutes until we got
Is that when we got lightninged off the
off
that
the
was
water. We have good connectivity. We have brand new. I don't know if you saw the new camera stuff here. We have new mics that we'll be able to have hooked up live, and we will do a Q&A.
Yeah.
But we'll do it on the water. I would even go so far as I'd be willing to find someone who's got one of your guys who's got the Humminbird stuff in 360. You can go through that, and then we could do a whole nother one on Garmin. We could do a whole nother one on Lowrance.
Yep.
I think those would be 3 really good shows. Also, a lot of content coming out from the Bass Tank on your YouTube channel and things like that. If you want more information about the Power Pole Vision.
The Vision. Yeah.
The Power Pole Vision.
And I'm going to set my boat up a little bit differently this year so I can be a little more flexible. So I can do a lot more content across all the brands. That's one thing that I've realized that I'm lacking, quite frankly, is I want to be more flexible because I get questions for guys across all the brands. And it's like, I need to make a video on that. So I'm really excited. My boat's getting rigged right now. And then I'm going to be able to do a lot more content for everybody. Cranford's running Humminbird for the most part this year.
He has to because he's got the four events without the scope. So I mean that.
So, but I'm just saying he'd be good to bring out. And,
he's got a 360.
Yeah, he's got 360.
I give him 3 weeks before he breaks it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that one. I really am. So.
We went and snagged those paddlefish out at Keystone, and when I hopped in his boat, there was only the only thing on the carpet of the boat was one pair of pliers and one trap because he's been trapping without scope at Kanawha trying to get ready for the Gunnersville no scope event.
Yeah, God.
But other than that, I was like very impressed with how clean his vessel was.
Well, you know, he's getting ready to sell it because I've got his new boat. His new boat is
about the paddlefish stuff on the carpet.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to clean all that up. I mean, because his new boat,
pro angler now.
Oh,
it's his job to keep the damn boat clean.
It is. You're not wrong. So, but so we'll get together. Those would be good shows.
Yeah. Anything else? Go to thebasstank.com. There's all sorts of stuff on there. The sales change off and on. Like I would say, there's a pretty good deal on some Marshwear Prime Bass Tank shorts right now.
Those have been a hot seller, but
$9.99.
Yeah, we had some left over from the summer. And I was like, hey, I know it's not short season, but let's blow them out so I can.
Marshwear is the sister company of AFCA.
I believe they are. Yeah.
You have 34s?
Yeah.
It says it in there.
Yeah, 34.
I'll throw you. He's on the 10.
Huh?
He's on the $10 bill. Jefferson?
I don't know.
Lincoln's on the $1.
I can't. That's a big bill. I don't know. I only do on Washington's.
Washington's.
That's a $1 bill. That's what I do.
$1. Yeah. What's Lincoln on? 5. Lincoln's on the 5.
Lincoln's on the $2. Wasn't Lincoln on the $2 bill? That is no longer.
I thought Lincoln was on the 5.
I don't know.
He's on the 20.
You see, guys, I'm broke.
Isn't Thomas Jefferson on the 20?
Maybe it's
Benjamin Franklin's on the 100.
Yeah, I know that one. You know but the 10. I don't know. Theodore
Jackson.
Roosevelt. So didn't I say that earlier? Did I say that earlier? I don't
Jackson.
know.
That's it. That was Call Me Camo too. You said it was the Jackson, I believe. I don't know.
Mr. Moneybags over there.
I feel like the guy who's on the 50 was burly. Had a big beard. I don't get 50s. They're bad luck.
Yeah, that's
like.
Well, look, isn't that a $2 bill on your wall?
Yeah. So Lincoln's on the 5.
Do you have a 10 over there?
Washington. Andrew Jackson, I believe, is that appears to be an Andrew Jackson.
Okay. Yeah.
I do not have a 10. I've never bet anyone for a 10.
Okay.
But I will brag. I do have money over there from Justin Lucas.
Okay.
James Biggs.
Okay.
Dean Rojas.
Yeah.
Lake Fort guy and John B.
Really? Yeah.
That one. Jason Christie.
Oh, yeah.
And Scott Martin owes me a peso or whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
whatever it is down there.
decide what on
Yeah.
that. I would have to scratch that up. He's not too fond of giving out side dineros.
Yeah, I can imagine now.
Grant is on the 50. Yes. I think he was a big burly guy with a beard.
Yeah, I think so. Sounds right. Okay.
Looks like a guy who would enjoy catching blue cats.
You're not wrong. You know,
You see him at
I
the
bet
boat
you.
ramp, he's like, I've
I
been
bet you-
hammering the blue
I bet
cats
you
on
smokes a
shad.
cigar, and yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yep.
but those
Hamilton is on the 10.
those are way outside of my pay grade, guys. I'm dealing in Washington's. You know, that's what I'm spinning over here.
Hamilton is on the 10. All right. Anything else you want to get in here? You're going to be like, I didn't get a chance to talk about that.
Dude,
that I
we could
wanted
sit
to."
here all day long. You know, so
We're an hour and 40 minutes in. I thought it was a very good show. I basically just asked a bunch of questions, but we kind of got you wound up and went with it. Learned some new products. Hopefully learned about it.
Yeah.
TheBassTank.com. Check out everything that they have going on there. I'll say this as a disclaimer to end the show. Scott is very knowledgeable, but is also running a for-profit business with the Bass Tank. So it's not like a 1-800-HELP number.
Yeah.
It's like you can't treat him like Google.
Yeah.
Like part of the perks of, working with the Bass Tank is, hey, I bought this unit from you a year ago and I have some questions about it. It's not a toll-free hotline. And I will say that full on because Scott will probably sit there and talk to you about it. But
I will.
as me from the Bass Tank, I'll say that's part of the customer service that comes with being a part of the Bass Tank customer base.
Yep.
I have questions about something I'm going to go buy somewhere else.
That's right.
And I've told you more. Just be like, hey, did you buy from this? No. Okay, buy something. We'll chat.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we get those calls and it does consume because what happens is it takes away from the guys that did spend money with me. And I'm always going to prioritize those. But guys, I've got customers that are haven't bought anything from me in 5 years. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to talk to them just like they bought from me yesterday. Once you're my customer, you're my customer. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of knowledge, but I can't tie up the phone line all day long for sure.
Good question here. Michael Cole asked, when is Gill Master going to be on for Crappie Talk Live? As of now, Drew Gill will be in studio on the 21st of January.
Really?
We will be in the boat. We will be fishing. So that is 1 week away. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do the show. Stay tuned to my Instagram, to BTL. I'm doing a better job of updating it and stuff. Not the website. It still says coming soon. But as far as on YouTube and stuff, like I want to get him and put him in some situations of stuff that he's never seen on
that'll be
on
fun.
a screen before, which is cool. It would be like, when it comes to scoping to me, that's like getting, I don't want to say Tiger Woods. It's not Tiger Woods because he doesn't have the resume of Tiger Woods, but talent wise, it's like getting a top PGA Tour pro and being like, hey, we're the best bunker player in the world. It's like getting Phil Mickelson for a short game.
Yep.
And then going and playing a par 3 with him.
Yep.
That's what getting in the boat with Drew Gill on this is like.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
I can't wait for it. Yeah. And he's never seen it. He doesn't know what he's in for. I don't think he's fished with a rod longer than 10 foot before.
Really?
So
that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
That'll be really.
We'll see. I wonder if I've been running music this whole time. No. We'll end it with this. All right. This has been another of BTL Bass Talk Live, a throwback day 4 tomorrow. You do not want to miss this day 4. A listener, a viewer sent something from the year 2004 and it's pretty cool. And I sent it to Frank, and then Frank, I don't want to give it away. Frank said, I still have that and it still fits.
Oh, wow.
And then he said, but I will not wear it. And I said, can we compromise and you can wear it for a certain, he said, okay, I'll do that. And I said, well, I've got something that's old school from the 2000s. And I said, well, let's just talk about baits from 2000 to 2005, late 90s, early 2000 baits. And then we'll dress up like tournament fishermen from the late 90s, early 2000s. And we can just talk about that little 5 to 10 year time period. And he's like, I'm in.
Nice.
So you don't want to miss tomorrow, day 4 with Frank Scalish. We've done a ton of shows this week. BLAT was a 2-hour show. Ben Milliken for an hour and a half. We did an hour and a half with Josh Daniels from Pro Bass Adventures last night. The Best on Tour this week came out with a lot of information. I know it's hard in a news cycle, a day-to-day news cycle, but I need to go back. And you heard we lost Dion Hibden, 58 years old. one of the most beloved figures, one of the only 5 anglers to win the Forest Wood Cup and the Classic. But aside from that, like even without those titles, he was a cool dude. Son still fish, obviously Guido. Interesting, I had Charlie Artley on and told some stories. I'd like to kind of let that marinate and get some guys on to tell some Dion stories because there are a lot of Dion stories.
There's a lot of stories.
And they're all good stories too. So, but tons of stuff. CTL, check out the last CTL. I'm going to drop today also that the latest CTL video and the podcast episode. We're also working on with Cyclops Jigs a BTL exclusive box. There's only 20 that are made with 8 jigs. It'll be out in the next week on Cyclops. And then dude, it's been a hell of a first 2 weeks, and I really appreciate the BTL viewers and listeners. Got a lot of comments on what they like, what they don't like. My goal this year is to try to really kind of dive into some different things, do some stuff that's deeper, not just the everyday tournament coverage, which we'll continue to do, but kind of get behind the scenes, under the skin, learn the story of guys that I've known for a long time and still don't know their stories. So
right on.
Learn a crap ton about electronics, which we did today.
Yeah, good show.
Yep.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. We have a couple little things to install on my boat.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put that on so it doesn't. But I think we're good. I don't think we have to go to the lake because when I went in pre-practice at Rayburn, I was hitting them at 110.
Yeah. Don't touch it then.
Yeah.
Don't touch it then.
Dude, look at this. I'm going to just show you. I don't really show everybody on. Look at this school. I don't think that's giving too much away. Look at that. There's no brush there. That's all bait and fish. Yeah. So the stuff that you can kind of see through bait, and then the thing that looks like a tree, that's all 2 to 4 pound large.
That's a good little I don't know what you want to call that. Little present for you.
We'll talk to everybody same time, same place tomorrow. See ya.